What happens when you eat poop? Contaminated food, a child accidentally eating animal or human feces, or other accidents may mean that a person accidentally eats poop. While this is a concerning occurrence, it usually doesn't result in a medical emergency. Although you'd ideally not eat poop, here's what could happen if you do and how to treat it. What happens to a person when they eat poop? According to the Illinois Poison Center, eating poop is minimally toxic. However, poop naturally contains the bacteria commonly found in the intestines. While these bacteria don't harm you when they're in your intestines, they're not meant to be ingested in your mouth. Examples of bacteria commonly present in poop include Campylobacter, E. coli, Salmonella, Shigella. These bacteria can cause you to experience symptoms such as nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, fever. Parasites and viruses like hepatitis A and hepatitis E are also transmitted via poop. You can become ill by coming in contact with these through other measures, such as kissing an unwashed hand. Therefore, if you eat a larger amount of poop directly, you're at greater risk for adverse symptoms. Sometimes you may accidentally ingest poop, such as eating contaminated foods. This will cause symptoms that are similar to those of food poisoning. Time and drinking plenty of fluids can usually help reduce most symptoms associated with accidental poop ingestion. Fecal transplants. There are some instances when poop has medical uses, although not for eating. This is true for the fecal transplantation procedure. It's also known as bacteriotherapy. Every year, around 500,000 people in the United States get sick from the bacterium C. diff. This is often caused by taking antibiotics, and trying to take more antibiotics to treat it may actually. But what happens when we take antibiotics? Well, they don't kill the C. diff, but they do kill plenty of the good bacteria that keep it in check, allowing it to take over and cause damage. There are specific antibiotics that do target C. diff, but they do not always get rid of all of it. This procedure treats the condition C. difficile colitis, C. diff. This infection causes a person to experience severe diarrhea, abdominal cramping, and fever. The condition occurs in those taking long-term antibiotics. As a result, a person may not have enough healthy bacteria in their stool to fight off other infections, like the C. diff infection. If a person has chronic C. diff infections, fecal transplantation may be an option. The process involves having a fecal donor provide their feces. The feces are tested for parasites. The donor is also usually asked to submit a blood sample to test for the presence of fecal-transmitted diseases, such as hepatitis A. The person receiving a fecal transplant will usually consume a liquid diet or laxative preparation before receiving the transplant. They'll then go to a gastrointestinal (GI) lab where a doctor will insert a special instrument called a colonoscope through the anus that's advanced to the colon. There, the doctor will deliver the donor stool to the colon. Ideally, receiving the fecal transplant will provide the colon with healthy bacteria that can fight off C. diff and reduce the likelihood it'll come back. It's important to note that a person with C. diff shouldn't eat poop, even if they experience chronic C. diff infections. Fecal transplantation involves delivering highly tested poop in a controlled setting. Simply eating poop isn't a substitute treatment for fecal transplantation.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's